Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday on a very special Tuesday. This is All in Society and Friends. Thank you for joining me today. This is episode number 9. It is the NBA season kickoff. NBA is kicking off in about 30 minutes. It is 7 o'clock sharp right now. So in about 30 minutes, the defending champions, Denver Nuggets, will be taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. And LeBron James, Anthony Davis, one of my favorite players, Rui Hachimura. He previously was a player on the Washington Wizards, my current favorite team. I reside not too far from the stadium, so they are the team that I follow, the team that I am passionate for. So I will be, covering them this NBA season, amongst other things that's going on in the NBA. But thank you so much for joining me today on this show. If you're joining me live, thank you very much. I appreciate it. If not, thank you for watching this episode whenever you had the time. I truly appreciate the support. So if you're not familiar with the show, my name is Claude Purchase, middle name Winston, hence the Claude Winston. I am a casino industry, let's say I'll call it a veteran. That's where my experience is. I was a previous poker dealer. A lot of my experience, pretty much majority of my experience is in the poker department. So I was a dealer, supervisor, tournament director. Even before I started working and working my way up the corporate ladder at a certain company, I started in a charity poker room in Michigan, and back then I was dealing and also ran the tournaments for them. Now I won't mention the charity poker room because they were involved in a lot of shady stuff. I'm pretty sure that happened after I left and I was not involved. But anyways, there was one time that there was a family, a couple that asked me to run a tournament for them and come over to their house and just organize everything, get everybody seated playing, make sure the tournament is running accordingly, and kind of be like the manager and the almost like the DJ, I guess, if you will, the kind of the MC to kind of keep things fun and flowing, and make sure all the rules are upheld at least on the basic level. So when I did that, I was helping them raise money for a specific reason for their family. I won't mention why. And I just remember it was very impactful doing that. And so as time has gone on, I've transitioned out of the casino industry right now. I'm kind of doing my own thing as an entrepreneur, launching my brand, All in Society. And I wanted to get back to giving back by helping the community, and where I felt that there was a need because I needed to learn how to do these things was basically learn how to invest my money. We all know how to go to work, how to clock in, how to produce wages, right, for working for someone else. But when we have extra money stacked up, a lot of us just put that extra money in the savings account, right? Well, just stashing your money in a savings account, it's great rather than spending it, right? But um, as right now, inflation's crazy, right? So as inflation rises, your dollar is you have less. Your dollar is less valuable, so you have less money to spend, or you have that same dollar just spends less as time goes on. And so I wanted to learn how to invest my money, especially as somebody who was able to budget and save money, and I also played poker on the side, able and was also able to generate a nice little lump sum stashed away and saved away for a rainy day or for whatever reason. And so I wanted to learn how to invest this money. And so I've been going through conferences and just kind of finding mentors or just learning either from free resources or purchasing online classes, courses, and things like that. I've also been working on my poker game as well, and not just treating it as a hobby. I'm now treating it as a full-blown business as well. I obviously keep those two things separate. Um, that has led me to, I'm the confident now to manage my own 401k, at least a portion of it. So, like I said, I left my previous employer, and by doing so, I had some money stashed away in my 401k. Portion of that is your just your traditional 401k, and another portion I was putting money towards a 401k Roth. And so now I took that money out, I rolled that money out, and I've been managing myself in certain ways. And so that's when I want to share my experience, obviously make some money along the way, and hopefully help others and provide value. And this is, free game. I'm spending money and learning either the hard way or by researching and just getting in position. And along this journey, I want to show you the similarities between playing poker. Now, I've been playing poker for half my life, so I'm not saying that I'm going to teach you guys how to play poker and go to the casino and make money. That's not my goal. If you want to play poker, I'm going to. I've had players on that are professional poker players, and you can link up with them. I can also point you to the right direction if being a poker player, like semi-professional poker player, is something that you want to do. But if you want to kind of learn as far as investing your money, what to do with your money rather than leave it in a savings account, you can follow my journey there as well. I can help you with that as well. Most importantly, we're going to have fun. So we're going to talk about the NBA, which I'm watching on the side over here. So if you see me looking in the distance, that's why I'm looking over there. We're going to talk about the NFL. Um, Sports betting is huge, right? So every once in a while, FanDuel, MGM, the other platforms will give you free bets or like profit boosts and things like that. So I have a lot of time to kind of watch the games and find where I feel is edges. And so we're going to track that and see if I know what I'm talking about, and we'll have a little bit of fun with that as well. But specifically on today's episode is episode 9. It's the NBA season tip-off. Looks like right now Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, is getting ready to give the Denver Nuggets their rings from winning the championship last season. So congratulations to the Denver Nuggets. I had hoped to follow a team that wins a championship in my adult life. The Detroit Pistons won when I was growing up in Michigan, and I was wonderful watching that. But as my adult life, being able to spend money and go to the games myself rather than having my mother and my father pay for tickets and things like that. Uh, I I would love to see the Lions, right, or the Washington Wizards win a championship. But on today's episode, we have a few topics to discuss before the games tip off. So LeBron James, Peyton Manning, and the Obamas, former president, they all have production companies. And I've read that, I'm sure you guys have seen or heard that show, Quarterback, on Netflix. Well, these guys are all getting together and talking about putting a basketball documentary or docu-series together. So I'll provide a little information on that. Apple, they are coming up and launching products October 30th. We'll discuss that. Bitcoin is rallying. We'll discuss that. The NBA kickoff, Big Three controversy, and so rare. My NFL top 5. And then, like I shared, we'll discuss the stock market and some of the reports that were going down today. All right. So Spring Hill, Omaha, and Higher Ground are the production companies for LeBron James, Peyton Manning, and the Obamas. As I mentioned, Quarterback is a popular show. It's on Netflix. I have not personally watched it, but I've seen clips and I've heard people talk about it and say it's great. Patrick Mahomes was featured on the show. So right there, I'm sure it's very interesting, a great watch. But LeBron and Peyton have discussed a docuseries highlighting select NBA players on and off the court, according to Hollywood Reporter's Alex Weprin, I believe his name is, via article on Bleacher Report. And I will post that article online in the description of this episode. Apple. So Apple is launching new products October 30th. They're doing like they did in Wonderlust. They're doing an Apple event October 30th. And the expectation is they are launching new MacBooks. So I'm interested to see what that's all about. I'm not in the market for a new MacBook, but I think Apple, as far as iPhone sales and just sales of their other products, I'm hearing a lot of negative news, and that could be incorrect. But if it is correct, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, Google's earnings, they beat on the top and the bottom line. But because the cloud numbers were lower than expected, the stock dropped. And so same thing as Apple. If they beat on the top and bottom line, but products are slowing, or there's anything that investors think, oh, I need to be wary, we're not moving like Apple has been historically, then I believe the stock might drop, and there's some buying opportunities there if you guys are interested in purchasing more stock in great companies. That's what I like to do, find great companies with great fundamentals, with great financials, good balance sheets, and that's what I'm trying to learn how to invest in right now, and invest in those companies. So the money that I was talking about previously that you have saving, that would be some great places to put your money, rather than just letting it sit in a savings account. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is rallying. I think we talked about it last week as well, but it's currently sitting above 33,000. The price has doubled since the beginning of this year. Its peak was slightly above 35K today. It's maybe rallied above that since last time I was getting ready for this and preparing this. But that's great to see. There's a lot of institutional investors that are behind it now. We talked about the spot Bitcoin ETFs. So it looks like before the narrative was Bitcoin is rat poison. It's not backed by anything. It's nothing. It doesn't mean anything. That's not the narrative anymore. I'm pretty sure I can't remember his first name, but last name is Fink, and I believe it's a BlackRock CEO. He's kind of flipped the script. And if you know anything about BlackRock, definitely do your research on that. If you don't, if he's behind Bitcoin, buckle your seatbelts, because it's coming. It's a reality now. Something to consider. All right, moving on to the NBA topics. NBA versus Big Three. Now, I just saw this today. This is according to TMZ. Now, take that for, for what it's worth, right? But according to a report from TMZ, U.S. Department of Justice is investigating the NBA over alleged antitrust violations targeting the Big Three. The Big Three is a 3-on-3 basketball league that's founded by Ice Cube. I'm sure you guys all know who Ice Cube is. The league was launched in 2017, and it rostered almost entirely retired NBA players. Such of the allegations included NBA throwing its weight around to prevent sponsors and others potential partners from doing business with the Big Three. This is all in the article. I'll share the article with you guys. Big Three officials also been told the NBA owners have been discouraged from investing in Big Three while simultaneously owning a franchise. I don't know. We don't know if this stuff is true. Like I said, this is what TMZ is reporting. So you guys can check out the article yourself. I'll post it in the description of this episode description, or you can just go to tmz.com. I'm sure you can find the article as well. But that's interesting if any of this information is true. All right, NBA kickoff. At the end of this, I'm going to give you my predictions because it looks like the game's about to kick off. So I'm about to speed through this part real quick because I want to release it before anybody puts up any buckets. So opening night, we have the Lakers at the Nuggets. Right now, they're giving away the rings. Adam Silver is. That's going to tip off in about 15 minutes, 7:30 Eastern. And then the Suns take on the Warriors at 10 p.m. Eastern. So we got some great games to start the NBA season. Sports bets, I talked about that, right? So this is my pick for the night. So FanDuel provided me, I don't know if they went out and they provided this for everybody, but they provided me a 50% profit boost bet for NBA games tonight. So I decided I like Jamal Murray to lead. He's going to put up more points than anybody else on the court today in just this game. So he's going to lead the scoring tonight. against the Lakers. So I placed a $25 bet to win $165. So that's getting over 6-1 for Jamal Murray to lead scoring against a team that he's had a lot of success against, most recently in the playoffs. I didn't see a lot of other bets that were more lucrative than this. And this is why I want to start off my NBA season with a little YOLO. I don't want to put anything on how the teams are going to perform because it's the first game of the season. We don't know what's going on. They might have been partying too much. They might have been fighting leading up to this. But these are two teams that the locker room should be good. That shouldn't be an issue, right? But I want to just I don't want to bet on wins and losses today. I want to really try to put my money on who I know is a baller, a scorer, and that's Jamal Murray. He is a dog. We know LeBron James is going to come out. This is what his 100th season in the in the NBA. Also, I posted this online. He released it was an advertisement. I can't remember what company it was, but his wife narrated the commercial. And in the commercial, they stated that LeBron wants to be there for not just his oldest son to make it to the NBA, Bronny, but his second son as well. So I don't know. That means if he's going to be playing, NBA today, I think they gave you the stats of how long LeBron would have to play. But you have to probably play at least like 3-4 more years in order to play with both his sons in the league. Not necessarily in the same team, I don't think, but to play in the league when his sons were in the league as well. I hope he stays healthy enough and he's productive enough, and he's in like championship contention every year to be in the league that long. But that would be absolutely great. He is great on the court and absolutely he's amazing off the court as well. If you hate on LeBron James, I don't know what you hate on him for, other than he's just so great and you just want to see him fall. A lot of times we want to build these guys up just to tear them down. But what can you say about LeBron? He's done so much on and off the court. He's amazing. I love watching him. If anybody, I'm 100% going to see the Lakers this season. I'm going to the Staples Center. I don't care what it takes. I'm going to see LeBron at Staples Center this season. So if anybody wants to go with me, hit me up. If you guys are enjoying this so far and you're watching, give me a little thumbs up, a little like, share with your friends and family. Let me know that you're here. Say something in the chat. All right. So I bet the NBA playoffs pretty seriously here. So I like to watch the season throughout. So we'll see. Dang, y'all scared of something? Dang, all I said was leave a little something in the chat. You scared? Anyways. Oh, people a little nervous. But I watched the NBA seriously because I bet the playoffs in the end, the series. So I like to see how teams perform throughout the season. And this season, there's even more reason to watch because there's a mid-season tournament. I've touched on that in some of my podcast episodes. If you're not familiar, I have a podcast as well. It's titled All In Society with Claude Winston. So just go to your favorite podcast networks, type in All In Society. You can also type in Claude Purchase, Purches, and I'll come right up. Make sure you please download all the episodes. Leave a review. I'd really appreciate it. All right. NBA predictions. Here we go. So from coming out of the East, I have the Milwaukee Bucks. I think Damian Lillard teaming up with Giannis Antetokounmpo, that's a dynamic duo that no one's going to be able to stop. That pick and roll, they're going to be dangerous amongst the other players that they have in their starting lineup and on their roster. And out of the West, I think the defending champions, the Denver Nuggets, are coming back because it is absolutely so difficult to win against them at home. As long as Michael Porter Jr., Murray, Jokic, Gordon, everybody stays healthy, you got to go through them. Jokic is so efficient, and I haven't seen anybody in the West show me that they can stop them, especially not a team like the Phoenix Suns. There's absolutely no way they can stop Jokic. I do have the Bucks coming out and winning the championship this season. I believe the the GM, the organization is going to do whatever it takes to win a championship. And the window of Giannis being in his prime is obviously what he's in his prime, right? So it's shrinking. So they're going to do whatever it means, whatever it takes to win a championship, and I like to see that. And I like the MVP. It's going to be Jokic. He deserved it last year, and they're going to give it to him again. Excuse me. He deserved it last year over Embiid, in my opinion, and I believe they'll give it to him this year because he is too efficient not to. I don't know anyone else that can put up numbers that's going to be better than Jokic. I do have a bet that Damian Lillard wins the MVP because he might be the scoring champion and they might have the best record overall. And with the numbers he might put up offensively, he might be the MVP, and there's great odds on that. NBA is so rare. So NFTs. Now NFTs, everyone's going, no, stay away from NFTs. Well, yeah. So I invested in NBA Top Shot, and that's a whole nother conversation. But NBA is so rare. This is held there. The investments that I made is held as value, and the team is getting better year over year. So, in a nutshell, on the very basics, NBA so rare, SORARE, is NFT-based daily fantasy sports style digital trading game, card game, essentially. You collect and own players on current NBA rosters. So, say Kyle Kuzma. I wanted him on my team. You could purchase a Kyle Kuzma card and you can use him in your rosters. And then you set lineups and you win prizes such as cash and other cards based on your placings. You can play for free or you can purchase cards in daily auctions. It's auction based, so it's very addictive, so be careful. They go on 24/7 around the clock. They've really cut down to the amount of cards they produce. So that means they're more scarce. And so the option and the availability to trade these cards, I forgot you could do that as well. So you can, so say if you want to put $100 on the site, right, and then you want to formulate your team with $100 worth of capital, you can allocate X amount on each player. And but obviously your top tier players, it's just like fantasy sports, are going to cost the most. So someone like Jokic is going to cost a lot of money. So to purchase his card, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. And so you have like limited cards, rare cards, super rare cards, and very exclusive cards. I've only purchased the limited cards, which the limited cards they're like the basic cards, and you can win rare cards and then higher tier cards. I put X amount of money on there, and I'm not putting any more money on there. What I'm going to try to do, and it's going to be difficult because I'm going to try to use last year's cards. You can purchase, there's last year's cards and this year's cards. And really only the difference is, so this year's cards will give you a 5% boost, whatever you have. Whatever your base score is. And then last year's cards, you have the opportunity to kind of like level them up. So some of those cards, none of my cards are at 5%, so I'm already behind. But some of them are at 4% or like 3.5%, so it's not too far behind. Enough to give me either some cash or some win. I probably won't be able to place in like the top tier, but enough cards to give me some good enough cards and good enough percentages and boost to give me some limited cards in order to like sell those and then get more money and then stack those up to get a nice card, new card. So I'm gonna try to do it that way. I can also sell off some old cards, but it'll be difficult to sell off old cards. So I'm either gonna have to put money in or do it the hard way and kind of win new cards. So if anyone is interested for more information, I'm not trying to get anybody to get into this because I know it's a lot of negative connotations on NFTs. But I like this because you can, and like on DraftKings and FanDuel, fantasy sports, you purchase a team for $2. Say the competition costs $2, and then you get a salary, and then you use those points or use that money to build that team just for that competition. This you purchase the cards in an auction. You can get a great deal based on whatever the market price is. So try to figure out what your market price is. So what I'm trying to do is we'll let a couple of the auctions go out, and then we'll see what the market looks like, and then when based on the market, we'll try to make some deals. Obviously, what I've probably found is you're going to have your best buys like in the wee hours in the morning. Um, but be mindful if the wee hours in the morning here. So say if it's 12 o'clock in the morning here, it's 9 p.m. and in the evening in the West Coast. So you're going to probably want to be if you're on the East Coast, like 4 o'clock, 4 a.m. But then you have people overseas as well. So just be mindful. It's just some tips and tricks right there if you want to get into it and involved in the auction. But I have some players that I think are going to be good for me, like Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole. So now they're going to be they have the green light to score as much as possible. So they're going to be great pickups, and I'm going to use those cards heavily this season. And because they're going to cost a lot more than they did last season, I believe, unless people are just still a little bit behind. Want to see my progress? Definitely hit me up and let me know if you're interested. But if there's a referral code that I have as well, if you're interested in that, give me a buzz. Reach out to me on socials, or I think I scared people away when I said leave comments. Let me know that they're here because nobody's in right now. But if you guys watch this later, definitely leave a comments later. Or if you're watching live, just drop something in the comments and let me know. All right, NFL top 5. So last week, I'm going to go over the top 5 for last week. I had the number 1, 49ers, 2, Lions, Chiefs, 3, Dolphins, 4, and Eagles sitting at number 5. Number 1 is the best team in the league, and this is overall, not by conference. Now, week 6, there was a lot going on in week 6. So there was a ton of movement, and because how I am a big Lions fan, I am very critical of them. They are no longer in my top 5, and based on their schedule, it's going to take a lot for them to probably enter my top 5 again, unless the other teams falter. So here we go. So around out number 5, I have the Dolphins. Number 4, the Ravens. The 3, the 49ers. 2, the Chiefs. And number 1, the Eagles. I believe Eagles had the most impressive victory over the Dolphins, especially after their loss against the Jets the previous week. They got the job done. Chiefs are definitely playing well, but the Chargers are so-so team. 49ers lost to the Vikings, so I'd had to drop them down. I know that they had some injuries, but still, this is on a week-to-week basis. Ravens beat a team in the Lions, which I thought were great, but unfortunately, um, Lions weren't who they thought they were, or the Ravens are just a great team. So I couldn't look past that, and I put them as number 4. And then the Dolphins, even though they lost to the Eagles, I still think their offense is going to beat majority of the teams in the NFL right now, and their defense actually showed a little bit of resistance. So it was that was pleasant to see. So I think they are the 5th best team. All right, that leads us to Monday Night Football, since I won't see y'all till next Tuesday. So the Lions have the opportunity to redeem themselves. The Raiders come into Detroit on Monday Night Football. So Lions have an opportunity to get healthy and show us exactly who they are. Are they the real deal, or are they just them kitty cats? Meow. I don't think they're the kitty cats. I think they're the real deal, the king of the jungle. And I think that they'll take care of business on Monday Night Football, and again show us that Detroit's coming, but it's just going to take a little bit of time before they beat teams, or they can contend with teams on the caliber of the Ravens, or the 49ers, or even the Chiefs. Now the Chiefs are healthy. All right. Now disclaimer time. We're going to get into the market. So I definitely want to go over the disclaimer. The information provided in the show about personal finance and investing is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. Viewers are encouraged to consult with a qualified financial advisor, which is not myself, before making any investment decisions. The content presented may not be accurate, complete, or timely, and I do not assume responsibility for any errors or omissions. Investing involves risk, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Any endorsements or advertisements featured do not constitute recommendations. By participating in the show, you acknowledge and accept these disclaimers. So thank you for getting through that with me. And so now we're going to talk about the market. Earnings report is pretty much what we're going to focus on. I want to talk about General Motors. They reported earnings, and I don't personally hold General Motors stock, but General Motors is near and dear to me. I have a General Motors vehicle, and my family, a lot of them worked for General Motors. So I want to just kind of point out some of the things that I've read and seen. Excuse me. So General Motors beat Wall Street expectations and lowered guidance for the year. Adjusted earnings per share at $2.28 versus $1.88 estimated, so nice gain. Revenue $44.13 billion versus $43.68 billion expected, so a beat. They are lowering electric vehicle production target amid slower than expected demand, and that was information reported in their earnings, and I believe that was prior to them knowing, or maybe they knew about this. But the UAW began striking GM's largest plant after they posted better than expected earnings in the quarter. So I don't think that General Motors was expecting this. But when the UAW president found out that they reported earnings better than expected, that in revenue and the beat Wall Street expectations, I think the president pretty much had no choice at this point. It kind of showed like, you guys have extra money, you're doing all right. No, we're going to hit you where it hurts most. So we'll see how that plays out. Also, information I read: California DMV suspended Cruise, the autonomous driving company owned by General Motors. You can check out the Washington Post article for more information. I'll post that in the episode description. Coca-Cola. Now, I just recently bought shares of Coca-Cola, and I'll be holding on to those long term. They showed stronger growth than expected and what accustomed to historically past couple of years. So that's nice pop, nice time for me to enter investing in Coca-Cola. They beat Wall Street estimates and hiked full year forecast, so that was great. I wanted to invest in a consumer staple, especially in this market right now, in a high interest rate market, especially when Powell is saying that rates could be higher for longer. So Coca-Cola was definitely a company I was looking for to invest in. I was an owner in Pepsi, but Pepsi is pretty much double, or maybe even two and a half times, 3 times the price of Coca-Cola. Pepsi is a more so of a growth company, but also a stable consumer staple like Coca-Cola as well. But I did my research, and this is why, like I said, I've been taking these courses, learning, trying to dissect the financials and the fundamentals of companies, and listening to and reading through the earnings report, and listening to the conference calls, and the guidance from the CEOs and the CFOs, doing the dirty work to see exactly what's going on behind the curtain of these companies. And so by doing so, call it luck, or call it great research and investing. I got into Coca-Cola at a great time when they're growing more than expectations were, more than people are expected them to. So that was a great opportunity for me to get into. Good place to plant some money, where I shouldn't see a whole lot of downside with a stable company like Coca-Cola. So earnings came out at $2.99 a share versus $2.65 expected. Revenue, 56.52 billion versus 54.50 billion expected. Excuse me, guys. I'm reading the wrong numbers because those were huge numbers. I went a little bit too far. That was Microsoft. So excuse me. Earnings for Coca-Cola, 74 cent a share versus 64 cent expected, and revenue 11.91 billion versus 11.44 billion expected. Let's now move right into Microsoft. I am also an owner of Microsoft. I don't hold a lot of individual shares. These are shares these are some of the first shares that I purchased when I started investing personally myself. I was listening to Market Mondays, Ian Dunlop, Troy and Rashad, Troy Bilal and Rashad Jennings. I might have butchered that, guys. But anyways, Market Mondays on your leisure. Ian, he was preaching earlier this year, two index, two tech, no stress, no stress. So I invested in the S&P 500, specifically the Vanguard ETF that follows the S&P 500 index, so VOO, and I invested in Vanguard Dividend Index VIG. Those are my two index that I invested in, and I invested in Apple and Microsoft at that time. And so the shares in Apple and Microsoft at the time I've held on to, but only had two shares of Microsoft that are really, really great shares that are up quite a bit, like more than 20%, and one share of Apple that's up a decent amount. But Apple's came down since then, so those gains that I had have diminished. I had in there. I'm actually expecting and almost kind of hoping that Apple kind of misses on their quarterly reports, because I know the the stock price is going to drop probably at least about 5%, and it comes back down to the levels where I wanted to drop down to. I believe it's like 160, 165. Then I'll give me an opportunity to buy more Apple and hold on to it for a long term. I'm not somebody that trades Apple. I'm somebody that buys it a long term if I believe the story and the reason why I bought it long term holds true. So looking forward to that. But Microsoft beat Wall Street estimates across the board. Earnings, $2.99 a share versus $2.65. As I said, revenue 56 billion versus 54 billion. What I stopped at, Microsoft Intelligent Cloud up 19% year over year. Microsoft Azure jumped 29% for the quarter. And the stock is up around 4.5% after market at the time when I was writing this. I think it came down a little bit. Google, another tech company, kind of you can see how these stocks compare, even though Google beat Wall Street estimates. The cloud projections are key for looks like these institutional investors, and we'll discuss how the stock moved after they reported. So they reported earnings $1.55 a share versus $1.45 expected, and revenue 76.69 billion versus 75.97 billion. So a beat there. They beat on YouTube ad revenue, 79.5 billion versus 7.81 billion. But here's where this was key. They missed on Google Cloud revenue, 8.41 billion announced versus 8.64 billion expected. Despite hitting on the top and bottom line, investors were disappointed with Google Cloud revenue, which caused the stock to fall after hours. I'm going to look at it right now. As long as this is current, I don't know how accurate this is, but the stock is at after hours. It looks like it's down just under 6.5%, and it's at $1.30. yeah, excuse me, $130. I bought more shares at $130.69. The NBA game started, by the way, and so I just bought a couple shares there because I like that. I think that's probably pretty much where the floor is going to be, unless we get a kind of a rush to sell in the morning, in which case I'll buy more shares then too. If this dips around $1.15, I'm gonna try to find money wherever possible to buy more Google shares. They're definitely a company I plan to invest and hold long term, like just like just like Apple and Microsoft. Excuse me, guys. Been talking here for about 40 minutes straight. Think I'm due for a water break, so excuse me. Thank you. So that's going to pretty much bring us to the conclusion of the show. The NBA games are going, so I'm sure you guys are enjoying that. If you listen to the show later on, I appreciate it. Please like and share and subscribe if you haven't. If you listen to it all the way through, please share with your friends and family. I truly appreciate um, I appreciate your patience with me. I appreciate you sitting through and watching this with me, guys. If I provided any value, um, definitely tune in with me next episode with me live at 7 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday. I'll be here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be dropping knowledge and just my experience, really. If I provide any value, that'd be awesome. If I give you any tips as far as um, like the sports bets, what I'm doing. If it's winning, awesome. If I'm not winning and you can bet opposite and make money, awesome as well. If I share any information or any news that you weren't aware of that kind of helped you, awesome. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you please check out my podcast. Go on there, download all the episodes. You don't even have to listen to the episodes. Just download it for me. I appreciate that support. Leave a review, but obviously, please listen to the episodes. If you enjoy this show, you'll definitely enjoy the podcast. That's more really diving into what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis on a personal level, and I really dive more so what I do in poker in the podcast. So if you want to know what I'm doing on the poker end of things, definitely tune in to the podcast on a day-to-day basis. But I appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode of All in Society and Friends. If you haven't checked out last episode number 8 with Carl Gray, any entrepreneurs out there, Carl is a guy you want to check out. He always gives me motivation, inspiration, and helps me push things forward with my business and inspires me to be a better man as well. So make sure you check out all those past episodes. Make sure you like those and make sure you share those as well. I appreciate the support. Remember, life is one big session. Play the cards you are dealt to the best of your ability, and I promise you'll come out ahead. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the games, and good luck.